first that you may have seen Cardi doze off. She does not live in Los Angeles. She traveled here for this trial. She's very anxious to see this, to be here, but she got food poisoning on the way out. And so I'm sure all of you can imagine how terrible that is. Do not mistake it for a lack of interest in the case. She's come a long way, and this is a very important proceeding for her, but she is sick, and so I apologize for that. This is the last time, the last opportunity I'll have to speak to you directly until all the evidence is in. This is my chance to tell you what I believe the evidence will be. Now, what I say and what counsel has said today are like promises. We're predicting, we're promising you what we're going to show, and at the end of the trial, and I want you to remember the promises, because at the end of the trial, I'm going to ask you who kept their promises and who didn't. Now, obviously both sides can't tell their side of the story at the same time. That would be chaos. So in our system, the person who filed the lawsuit gets to go first. You've heard many times today that it's very important that you keep an open mind, that you hear both sides of the story before, both sides of the evidence, both sides' documents, before you make a decision or come to any conclusions. The only way to be fair to both sides, that you hear all of the evidence and not just jump to conclusions. Now, this is what we expect the evidence will show. First, Cardi is a loving mother to 3 young children and a devoted daughter and sister in a tight-knit family. She came from a very humble beginning. She is a successful recording artist now, but she was born in poverty in New York City's Washington Heights. She worked very hard to get where she is. In 2015, she joined the cast of a reality show called Love and Hip Hop New York, and from there, she all of a sudden got all these followers. And that ended up with her becoming a Grammy Award-winning and critically acclaimed recording artist. Now, second, the evidence will show that in late February 2018, Cardi was about 4 months pregnant with her first child, excuse me. It was early in her pregnancy. She came out to Los Angeles for work, basically, related to the NBA event. And she asked a friend, or she asked someone to recommend a gynecologist. She wanted to just check. And so she made an appointment, or an appointment was made for her, to see a gynecologist at a medical building in Beverly Hills. They took special steps to make sure this was private. The appointment was on a Saturday afternoon. The doctor, the gynecologist, had arranged for his staff to leave early. Her normal security person did not join her, because what could happen? She was going into he stayed in the car, she was going into a doctor's office, so what could possibly happen? And what happened was plaintiff. The evidence will show that plaintiff had her phone to her ear when the elevator opened, as Cardi was trying to make her way to her doctor's office. She was a patient. And the plaintiff stated out loud, "Wow, that was Cardi B." Cardi turned around and saw the plaintiff holding up her phone, filming or photographing her. And Cardi said, "Why are you doing that? Why do you think you can photograph me? Just steps away from my doctor's office." And the evidence will show that plaintiff's response was a belligerent "because I can." Now, you will hear evidence that plaintiff continued to follow Cardi as Cardi tried to get to her doctor's office. Evidence that the plaintiff continued to yell at Cardi. That when people from the doctor's office came out and told plaintiffs to stop, saying, "You're a security guard, what are you doing?" That plaintiff continued, and when someone intervened and got between them, plaintiff started taking swings at Cardi B. As Cardi B backed up and backed up, Cardi B was, facing someone, with all respect, who testified and admitted that she was 240, 250 pounds, wearing black military boots, hovering over Cardi, yelling and screaming at her and taking swings at her, trying to get to her beyond the person who was trying to intervene and trying to calm things down. Now, I don't take any pleasure in saying this, but there will be evidence that it was plaintiff who yelled, "I will fuck your shit up." That's when someone intervened and dragged plaintiff to an elevator and said, "You have to leave. You have to leave." You will hear Cardi's testimony that she both feared for her unborn baby, this was her first pregnancy, and a very large woman was advancing towards her, and she was utterly confused that a security guard would be her attacker. Importantly, plaintiff has repeatedly changed her story over the last 7 years. You will hear evidence that under oath, she stated in what is called discovery, Cardi beat her about the head and body. Under oath, she said that. You will hear evidence that plaintiff stated, Cardi scratched plaintiff's nose. You will hear evidence that the story then changed, that Cardi instead scratched plaintiff's cheek, and you will hear evidence that plaintiff also said Cardi never touched her. That is the evidence that you will hear. And to put it mildly, we expect the evidence will establish that plaintiff is not telling the truth. Now, there's been this allegation that that Cardi got plaintiff fired. But we expect...
Objection, Your Honor. We'll discuss this issue.
Sustained claims was withdrawn.
I apologize.
The claim was withdrawn.
Oh. Well, that's nice. I didn't know that. So there is no employment claim? Okay. You've been very patient. The case just got smaller, but we still have a lot of evidence to put on, and I thank you for your patience, and thank you for keeping an open mind and waiting until you hear both sides. Thank you.
All right, thank you, counsel.
Great.
We're going to begin with the presentation of evidence at this point in time. Does plaintiff have a witness to call?
Yes, Your Honor. Plaintiff calls Emani Ellis to the stand as our first witness.
Thank you.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly state that the testimony you may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. May I please have you state and spell your first and last name for the record?
Yes, my name is Emani Ellis. Last name is Ellis.
Your first name, please.
Emani, yes, Emani.
Perfect. Thank you. You may take a seat. Please watch your step.